Hello and welcome to the show. Now, the BAC Mono is a really rather good track car. Of all the open-wheeled vehicles on Forza, I've always preferred the Mono out of all of them. The nicest of them to drive. You know, it's fantastic fun going through an autocross course with it. It is a very, very impressive track car. Huge amounts of grip and will get around circuits stupendously fast. However, you guys wanted to see me turn one into a rally car. And, well, that is a little bit outside the wheelhouse of the BAC Mono. However, I am going to be giving it a shot. Now, the BAC does start at, well, the top of S1 class. However, the rules of this series are vehicles must be run with all-wheel drive, which in the case of the BAC will drop the PI, but actually a fair bit. It adds some weight on to the vehicle, and that's enough to drop the PI, so it is a little bit lower in S1 class, and it must also be run with the off-road compound tyre, which again does drop a couple of PI. So we have got a small bit of PI to play around with. This is not a huge amount. Oh, and of course, we must also have the off-road suspension that doesn't change the PI. It actually does lose a little bit of weight. But, yeah, we're going to have that. It's a little bit higher on the old ride height, not by a huge amount. Now, another rule for this series is the vehicles must run with their standard engines. If I wasn't doing that running with standard engine, I probably would swap the Turbo Rally into this for the more torque. While again, you know, it does fit in within the PI, as does the i6 as well fit within S1 class. Both of them are slightly heavier than the standard engine. You're not going to get the V8 racing engine in it, but yeah, I would normally, if I was building it for something else, I would put the Turbo Rally engine in probably for that torque. However, as I said, the vehicle's got to be run with their standard engines. I cannot put Forza Aero on the car again, otherwise I would be doing that, but that is not a thing which I can do. Now this, I suspect, is just going to add PI with a little in the way of effect. I will put the race diff on the car. Now the question I'm having is, do we go for wider tyres, or do I just get as much power in the vehicle as I can? And seeing as the Mono is down in terms of power, and it is going to be, oh, bloody hell, it is going to be down in terms of power here. Quite big time down in terms of power. We will go for exhaust, and we're not going to get anything else in here, because these are all adding huge amounts of horsepower, in fact. Quite impressive. I doubt anything's going to add 1 PI. No, it's not. Very similar to the Lotus, the 340R. But yeah, this is going to handle well, but it is going to have not much in the way of sort of straight line speed, and that might be problematic. Although, being such a good handling car, it should hold its speed through the corners well. So I don't know. Of course, always potential for a BAC Mono to go very, very quickly, even if it is well outside of its usual comfort zone. We'll have a look. Okay, so we could put on some much bigger rear tyres, which I think I will do. Can we get a? No, we can't get one of them on. So we can get bigger rear tyres, and that has actually lost us some PI, which means we can then go and take some more weight out of the car. So the bigger rear tyres did add some weight on. However, it did allow me to get the driveline on, which has then saved me more weight than the rear tyres gained us. So we are now under 1,500 pounds with 312 horsepower. Perhaps the biggest concern of the lot with the Mono will be the bumps causing a very lightweight track car issues. We will have to wait and see. Of course, it is off to the Reservoir Trail to test out our Mono rally car. I will get 3 runs through this course in an attempt to beat a 2:32.7. That is the current fastest time down this course set by the Plymouth Hemi Cuda, and that has been proving to be quite a tough time for cars to, well, even be getting remotely close to. Now the Mono should have the handling through these opening corners. It doesn't bottom out through that or across the bridge like we did see from whichever car it was. That was the Aerial. That was it, the Aerial Nomad that had issues with the bridge. Now we are beautifully controlled through the tarmac section. Now I don't quite know what the handling is going to do on the Mono now that we have come to the dirt. So far, managing managing quite nicely. Very short gear ratios in this car. I mean, it's designed to deal with relatively quick acceleration on a racetrack. It's not going to have the top speed. It's simply not got the power to have the top speed of some other vehicles. And on this course, it is a very, very fast course, but we're not doing 200 miles an hour, so it could suit the mono a little bit better. God, we're running a smidge wide through there. It's all about trying to make sure that we can keep the power, keep the speed up, keep the power down through these corners. That's gone quite poorly for us. One other area that the poor car is not going to like is this water. Water is not fun. Water is not pleasant for the BAC. We are going to lose quite a bit of time. Oh, there's a lot of understeer there. That was a tremendous... I have no idea how on earth I didn't get reset, because I was miles wide of the checkpoint. That is tremendous amounts of understeer that I was not quite prepared for through that corner. But there we go. Yeah, I was expecting to just be able to chuck the car in and it would all be good. It has been most parts, but I guess I was just asking a bit too much of it. This is also where we are going to have some issues. So we're going to stick out well wide of the puddle there, and that will do nicely. Now the bumps down here, are they going to be mean to the BAC? Not too bad. Now we do want to get back in line quite quickly, because I know the bumps on the outside there are nasty. Now we're coming up towards the biggest jump on the circuit. I mean, time-wise, yeah, we're well down. A couple of mistakes and so on will not have helped matters. They're surprisingly good, actually, across all of that. I'm actually trying to run this in with way too much speed in some of these corners. I'm thinking I can be flat out in places where I really just cannot quite be. Okay, there's a bit of a scrappy opening run, I will be honest, in all of that. A 241 as a opening gambit from the mono. Okay. It's not as bad as it could have been. That much is for sure. But I think, again, we might be struggling on a just lack of power. So it is on to the second run for the mono. We've got some time to be finding on this. Got to keep the car out of trouble. We've really got to keep the car out of the water. This is losing it, you know, a fair bit of time. It just doesn't get through that section as well. The car is very low and it doesn't have the power to punch its way through out the other side that some of the other cars have had. There's a surprise. I was really expecting this to get turned a little bit more through that corner, because it really is not carrying as much speed there as I would expect. Okay, we can cut back quite nicely there, though, for getting a good exit down towards the bridge. Now, we cannot afford to dip. I'm not going to play around with the puddle there. I know it's just too likely to slow me down here. We're probably going to be flat out, much like we were with the Skyline, flat out all the way through here, and then again through this next one. Yeah, we'll be flat out the whole way down this section if we can get it right. Then up the other side. So I suspect, how are we doing speed-wise? Pretty good, actually. Pretty good, 123 as we crest the hill. We got a decent jump, and then nicely controlled down there. Not quite sure whether I want to be in fourth or third. Again, we're just not getting the launch off of that ramp, and that would suggest to me we're just not getting accelerated out of the other side well enough. Yeah, really struggling to carry the speed there, but it lets me get away with missing the checkpoint. That's a bit peculiar. Yeah, you just can't quite carry the speed and get turned that I would be expecting of the mono. Now, we can carry, so some places it's driving it as I would expect, and then others, I guess I'm just asking too much of the car, but there we go. Now, we've got to keep this out wide. You know it dislikes the puddle. Pretty good, though. Yeah. You can, most of these corners, you can really just place the car exactly where you want it, and that's really nice. Just a couple of them, it gets a tad unhappy. Now, I have to have a little lip. I'm actually really surprised. This is quite nice over these bumps. All things considered, this is managing them a lot better than most cars that we have seen go down here. I am very surprised by that. I thought the mono would be all over the place, but no, it is actually very, very well composed through the bumpy sections. In fact, one of the best cars we've had across them. There we go. It's a little bit more like it. a little bit more like it on that run, a 2:36.8. Yeah, that's a better time, and I think we've still got a bit more in it to find if we can not run wide in a couple of places. But yeah, there we go. So it is on to the final run for the BAC Mono. I'm thinking if I can get everything right here, don't make any silly mistakes with the car, we could potentially see this getting into the low 236s, maybe a high 235. I would have to have an absolutely magical run if I was to be getting even remotely near to the Plymouth. It's just so much quicker than this and than anything else that has gone in this series. The Mono, you know, it's not feeling bad to drive off-road. It's feeling quite comfortable tackling these corners, but it's just not got the speed of the Plymouth. I think the issue is that the Plymouth just had so much power that, yes, the BAC Mono may be half the weight, but the Plymouth had near enough 3 times the power, and just that much more significant power to weight ratio, and a huge amount of torque in the CUDA as well to help it get up these hills. The Mono is carrying good corner speed through here, but it just simply can't get up these hills as quickly as the Hemi CUDA could, or as some of the other vehicles have in this series. I'm taking as much speed as I dare through these corners, but then we just struggle climbing up the hill there. We jump into the water, and then again we're losing time going through that water. This time I've got you slowed down for that bloody corner. Now we should be flat out again all the way up here across the jump, but again it's not massive amounts of airtime from the Mono. It is a little bit neater this time out. Again, another bit of a tighter corner coming up. I am really impressed with how well the car is handling this circuit. It is, you know, a mighty showing. Now we're going to stick out wide. There we go. Through the water. Nicely done it through there. Yeah, being able to position the car so nicely through that section is a godsend, because water is not good. Water is not good at all for the Mono. We got so lucky with the bouncing there. It actually kind of straightened us out for the way that we wanted to be going. I am having to have little lifts down here just because we are getting thrown about ever so slightly through these corners as we head around the second to last corner. One more turn to go for the Mono. Chuck it in and then try and use as much of the acceleration as we can. It's going to be a 236, I believe that one was. A little faster. Yeah, a little faster that time out. 236.4. I think it's just lacking the power. That is the only conclusion I can come to. I was expecting it to have real issues with handling. I was expecting it to, even with the rally suspension and so on, be too low for this course, get bounced around and thrown around, and it really doesn't. It is incredible how well the Mono deals with that rally stage. I wasn't expecting that. However, it is just not fast enough, and I think it is the lack of power, the lack of torque for dealing with the hills and some of the bigger accelerations. As it can carry the corner speed, I just don't think it can accelerate quick enough to compete with the Plymouth. The stage time, however, is still pretty damn good. A 236.4 will put the car into 6th place. It beats the Opel Manta, the crazy aerial Nomad, the Volvo 850R. It's far quicker, some 3 seconds almost quicker than the Lotus 340R. However, it does lose out fractionally to the Ford Pursuit Ute, the Subaru SVX. You know, it's just over a second down on the Skyline R32. But it is a long way down on that Plymouth. Well, there we go. That is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.